Yep. Welcome back to Hakim's Garage. We have a 2007 Volvo S8, the V8, and we're doing the alternator. So it's the V8, the 4-liter. So the alternator is down here. It's usually located down there, up there. And this is the old one, and that's the new one right there. So this is the procedure. This is the way I found it to be easy. So you remove the hub over there, and then the axle, and then you'll have all this room down here. And it's also better if you remove the fender wall cover, that guy over there. So from down here, so it give you a bit of more of access to get the belt off, to pull the tensioner off. So, and that's the old one there, and that is where it stays. The alternator, as you can see, 1, 2, and 3 on the top here. So those 3 bolts there, and it has this little heat shield on the alternator, because this is the catalytic converter, right? And this is where the alternator stays. So one of the best way I find to bring this alternator up is by taking this cover shield, this heat shield, off of the alternator while it's over there. This is just a 3 little bolt, those 3 guys. So you remove them while it's there. Yeah, it's a T25 T-Torx, and then it comes off. You just put it aside for the new guy over there. And then once you do have that heat cover shield out while it's in there, and then you're able to, and then there is this vacuum line here. So this vacuum line is actually down here. So one of the best way to push this thing up is there's one 10mm nut over here where my finger is. So you loosen that guy up, and then you come up and you take this cover off. It's just a rivet push pins. You just pry it off, and then so this is the 2 lines here, these 2 vacuum lines, and then just pop them off of here, and then pop them off over there, and then makes it easier for us to just, see, to pull them up. Okay, recap again. So this is a 2007 Volvo S80 with the V8, not V6, not 2.5 liter, but the V8, the 4-liter. So you disconnect the battery there, the negative post, and then you come down here. You take off the hub, and then the axle. You have to remove the hub to get to the axle anyways, and then you get all this room. You get all this room here, you see, all this opening. And then, like, as I said, these 2 vacuum lines is like over here, but once you remove this 10mm nut, this guy here, and then from up, you pull them up. They just clipped in those clip push pins, and then you're able to push these vacuum lines up, so you have a lot of room here. And then you remove the 3 bolts for the alternator, 1, 2, and then this is the 3rd over there where my finger is. You see, is that they're all 10mm. And then you do have those two electrical plugs. So I don't know if let me put a. So you do have that. So you have to remove. There's a plug off of the alternator, which is for the computer, and then you have the 12-volt battery there. That's a 13 millimeter, and the plug you just pry up and pull it out. So the best time to remove these two guys is while it's bolted, while the alternator is still intact. You remove these two guys, because if you do remove the 3 bolts and the alternator comes down, this thing does not come down. You see, there is no play. This is how German likes to make their stuff, right? Make them short, compact, and difficult. So you won't be able, because the alternator will be dangling, and you won't be able to remove them. It becomes very hard. So remove these two guys while the alternator is still intact, and then you remove the 3 bolts. And then, as I said, you won't be able to get this. You won't be able to get them together off of here, because you only have so much room in there, right? So you remove this cover while it is there. Remove the cover off. So yeah, have them like that. You have a lot of room to maneuver the alternator in there. So remove this cover off, bring them up first, and then bring the alternator out. Yeah, you don't have to remove the fender wall cover, but I find it to be so much better. It gives you a lot of room for the tensioner. So you can use for the tensioner, that guy there is a 19 millimeter. There, over there. So that one, 19 millimeter. You can use a wrench or a long ratchet with a shallow 19 millimeter socket. So that's the old one, and that's the new one. So I'll be putting the new one by itself first, and then I'll put the heat shield cover in there, and then bolt the 3 bolts, and then put the 12-volt cable and the connector for the computer, and just put the axle back, put the hub back, and button it up. There you go. See, like that. The new alternator is in. So now we can put our heat shield there. So there you go. That's the new alternator in place. That's how it looks like.